Good afternoon. My name is Ellen Worsdahl, and I would like to welcome everyone to our second seminar for the One McCormick series. For those of you who do not know me, I am lucky enough to work in the undergraduate engineering office with a number of our student organizations within McCormick. I look forward to spending the next 30 minutes with you and serving as your moderator for today's presentation. Our speaker for this presentation is Emily Jenkins. She is the current director of our undergraduate chapter of the Society of Women Engineers, SWE. Before I get started, I have a few housekeeping items to review, and then I will turn it over to Dino Tino, who will introduce Emily. This seminar will include a presentation followed by Emily, followed by Q&A. If you want to ask a question, please post it to the Q&A, which is a feature you can find at the bottom of your screen. I also want to let you know that today's seminar will be recorded. Now, without further ado, I would like to introduce Dino Tino.
Thank you, Ellen. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the One McCormick series. This is the second seminar. So the idea of this series of seminars is to make people aware of the totality of things going on within McCormick. We are a network of interconnected activities, but due to lack of time, sometimes we can get to see only the immediate neighborhood of where we are. And it's important, if we want to move forward, that the network is connected. We cannot leave part of the network disconnected from other parts, because we want all ideas to be on the table. And we will get lots of good ideas when the ideas emerge from all the diversity of the network represented in McCormick. So we are bringing in some components of the network that really function well. And today we are asking SWE to present to us what they are all about and what they do. Emily Jenkins, who is from computer science major and is pursuing the Kellogg managerial degree in analytics, or the managerial analytics certificate, is the one who will present in the activities of SWE. SWE is one of the points of pride for McCormick. Is a group that has had continual successful leadership for what is now 44 years. This started in 1976. And I think we'll all benefit by knowing what SWE has been doing, what is planning to do, the range of activities that they have pursued so successfully for the last many, many decades. With that being said, I want to introduce to you Emily Jenkins. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for that introduction. My name is Emily Jenkins, and I'm a fourth-year student studying computer science in McCormick, and I also am pursuing a Kellogg certificate in managerial analytics. So today I will be presenting about SWE. So let me pull up my slides very quickly. So as mentioned, I'm a part of the Society of Women Engineers on campus, and I specifically am on SWE's exec board as the director of He4SWE. So I'd love to talk a little bit about what SWE does, as well as the specific committee that I'm director of. So first and foremost, the Society of Women Engineers is a nonprofit organization dedicated to empowering women to fulfill their full potential as engineers and leaders. So in practice, this really means creating a community for women engineers on campus. As we know, women can be in the minority as engineers. So it's about creating a space to collaborate and network and get to know each other, and to create that community that makes McCormick and Northwestern overall more of a home to everybody. So Our members can be general members as well as they can join 5 different committees. So my committee specifically is He for SWE, but the other ones include our social committee. So they plan social events throughout the year, like pizza parties, study hours, movie nights, different things like that. And obviously in this new virtual setting, we are finding new ways to engage with our members in a social setting. We also have an outreach committee that works to kind of promote our message in our greater community outside of just McCormick and outside of just Northwestern. So we work with middle school and high schools in the Evanston area to introduce STEM fields at a younger age so that women can feel more comfortable with these fields, as they go through their middle and high school years and potentially ultimately choose to pursue engineering at the university level. Publicity is our committee dedicated to promoting our events, as well as member retention. So making sure that people get the word out about all the things that we're doing on campus, stickers, sweatshirts, different things like that as well. And then professional development is one of our big committees that plans a whole host of different events, whether it's brown bag lunches with different professors to hear their insights, or they are contributing to events like the Industry Day, which I'll talk about in a minute. But it's a great way, to kind of round out, these committees are a great way to round out SWE as a place to both find community and then also to develop professionally in a way that will help you kind of find your career and really chase that path. So talking a little bit more on the topic of outreach, we do have a lot of mentorship opportunities, which I think definitely makes SWE unique on campus. So when you come in as a first-year student, you can, before school even starts, you can get a mentor that's an upperclassman. So anything from study buddies to class advice, and you can also get paired up with someone that has a similar major to kind of just field any kind of questions, any career questions, anything that pops up along the way. So it's a great way, I think, that we make first-year students feel a little more comfortable as they transition to McCormick and kind of take their first step into engineering for a lot of students who maybe didn't have specific programs like that in high school. We also have our summer technology and engineering program, which is a 4-day camp in the summer where we introduce girls at the middle school level to STEM fields. We introduce, we have design challenges and different things like that to really kind of dive in and take this abstract idea of engineering and make it a little bit more concrete. So that you maybe know what you're getting into when you're applying to engineering and kind of can be a more concrete thing. Like I mentioned, we also have a lot of events and programming to introduce freshmen to McCormick. So one of the things that we've done in this new virtual format is called Cat Connect, where first-year students can stop in on a Zoom and just meet other classmates and talk through EA concepts and all that kind of stuff. So it kind of creates a place for freshmen to find community, especially in this quarter where it's definitely more challenging to do so, where a lot of people maybe aren't on campus or haven't come to campus at all yet. So a couple major events that SWE does as an organization every year. So one that's kind of happening right about now this week is the Industry Day. So it's the largest technical career fair on campus. So obviously it's virtual this year, but that's one of our big events that we love to go and volunteer at and really be a part of, where students can, leverage this community that we have to really get their face out there in front of employers and kind of figure out the ins and outs of the networking and intern/job search process. We also have a career day for girls. So it's an all-day program designed to get middle and high school girls interested in STEM. So we invite them to campus and do lab tours and different challenges to really just, like I said, make this abstract idea more concrete. I know when I first came to Northwestern, I selected engineering and didn't totally know what I was getting myself into, but I knew that I was up for the challenge. So it's really about encouraging, that message, with incoming students that are maybe interested in math and science and engineering as well. We also do SWE in the City, which is one of our most fun kind of inter-club events that we do each year. So it's an overnight professional kind of development conference in downtown Chicago. So we'll do resume workshops, bonding activities, all sorts of things to, again, strengthen that community within ourselves, but then also to provide tangible, real world advice and prep for, the ultimate goal of kind of figuring out that next step after Northwestern. Finally, we also do a spring celebration, with a keynote speaker and dinner to kind of look over all of the things that we've done over the course of that year, and also to kind of get some feedback and figure out, what we could be doing better and how we can be, making people feel more comfortable and more supported throughout their time in McCormick. So He for SWE is Northwestern or SWE's newest committee. So it was founded in 2017, and it was kind of a result of, looking at these gender inequity statistics and really wanting to do something tangible about it. And I think, it's so great that we have a place, a community for women engineers on campus that is SWE. But I think we really wanted to kind of, take people that were already, invested and then kind of dive deeper into an issue. So as you can see, obviously there are discrepancies between, men and women in STEM-related fields. And, that happens at the university level as well as in industry. So you can see at the bottom at Northwestern, McCormick specifically is 35% female, which is 2 times the national average. So that's awesome. That we're really putting this issue at kind of the front of our minds. But obviously we consistently want to be working to be better and to improve upon that. And then also, I think another thing that's really important is to, look at our retention and kind of make sure that the people that are here, feel like they, are valued and part of it all. And as you can see, this problem persists into the industry. So you can see like 8% of chemical and electronics engineers are women as of 2013. And there is a pretty sizable pay gap as well. So these are issues that we kind of saw and wanted to, do something directly to make a tangible impact on this. Additionally, beyond just kind of the, statistics nationally, we also know that there are students that do experience situations that make them uncomfortable and that kind of display some bias within McCormick, and a lot of these do happen during the first year of their McCormick experience, and these quotes are pulled from an anonymous survey that He for SWE specifically ran to kind of provide a space to share experiences, and then we take some of these anonymous experiences and do case studies and kind of use them as part of our programming to really figure out, where some of the problems and situations that arise are happening, and so we can kind of target our programming more. So He for SWE itself as the committee is an initiative to spread awareness and drive dialogue about gender inequality in STEM fields. So really it's just about driving the conversation and bringing in people who are willing and ready to talk about it. And another part of our message is also reaching people that maybe, don't seek out the opportunities to talk about it, and kind of really making sure that our message is heard. So we focus on gender disparities and gaps, both in McCormick and in the industry. And the aim really is just to equip students to be able to speak up for themselves and to feel empowered, both at Northwestern and McCormick, as well as in future internships and jobs, because this problem is across many different avenues, and it shows up in many different ways. And like I said, it's a pretty new committee, so it started in 2017, and it was actually based on Emma Watson's UN He for She movement, which was pretty cool to kind of take something that was going on nationally or internationally, and apply it here at Northwestern. So a couple different events that He for SWE specifically does throughout the year. So we'll do focus groups with different predominantly male engineering clubs and groups on campus. So we'll do surveys of all of their members to get some hard data on specific clubs' gender split, both in their general club as well as on their exec boards and leadership. And so we can kind of give them some targeted feedback on different ways that they can improve, hear from different members of their clubs to see, you know, if different situations have arisen and how they were handled and how they might be able to be handled better. And also just how different clubs can empower women to take on these leadership roles, because a lot of these clubs do have predominantly male executive boards. We also do panels. Our big panel is in winter quarter. We bring in industry professionals, we bring in professors, as well as undergraduate students to kind of hear from a variety of different perspectives on this, and kind of, I think that's kind of my favorite event that we do throughout the year, actually, to really just, it kind of fires you up and makes you excited and really want to talk about it. And I think it's really powerful to have, you know, people from all different groups, whether it's industry, you know, faculty or students, to really kind of talk about it and find a common ground to start from. We also hold workshops to address subconscious biases. So we'll do case studies that are pulled from the quotes from our anonymous survey that I mentioned, as well as just, you know, talking through ways that, you know, you can maybe stand up for yourself, ways that you can be an ally for somebody else. We also, last year, had our first shop body awareness event. So in the past, you know, the shop has been a place where women can feel uncomfortable and where it can be a predominantly male space. So we hosted a training event with one of our shop trainers, Heidi, to kind of just educate and kind of create a space to learn about it without the pressure of, you know, performing or anything like that. And then lastly, we had an Art Institute event where we were able to kind of more creatively discuss this issue. So it's kind of obviously inspired by the fact that it was at the Art Institute, but again, driving this conversation about gender inequities in kind of a more creative setting. So, you know, overall, He for SWE has really kind of in its, you know, 3 to 4 years that we've been around, really, we have been trying to, you know, drive this conversation on campus and just to get people talking about it. And I think that's a very important first step. And then obviously to create programming that really makes people think about it and kind of, you know, we all have biases and that's natural and that's okay. And so it's about, you know, figuring out how we can navigate the world with these biases and make sure that, you know, everybody feels included and everybody feels, you know, welcome in the spaces that we have at McCormick, at Northwestern, and kind of in the wider industry. So with that, I'd love to take any questions that anyone has.
Fantastic. Thanks, Emily. I want to thank everyone. The questions are starting to come in. So I want to use our time as wisely as possible and try to get through them as many as we can in the time we have together. So to start things off, Emily, you and I have talked about the importance of mentorship, especially for young women. And SWE obviously has a number of different mentoring programs that target not only their current membership, but also for younger students through their outreach events. Can you just talk a little bit about your own experience with mentorship, either as a mentor or as a mentee?
Absolutely. So the mentorship program is, I think, one of SWE's definite highlights. And I think it's really important as a freshman coming in to have someone that you can reach out to with questions, with concerns, you know, again, whether it's, you know, studying together at Starbucks or, you know, helping pick classes or help, you know, giving advice on, you know, where your career might take you, whether that's graduate school, whether that's job, whether that's industry. So I think it's definitely something that's really important that we've thought a lot about. And we have that program for first year students that come in, as well as we partner with Grad SWE, which is graduate students in STEM fields. So as an undergrad, you can also be talking to someone who has taken that route of grad school and kind of, again, make a more abstract process a little bit more tangible, and kind of get a concept of, you know, if you might be interested in that or kind of different paths that you might be able to take. In my personal experience, I think one of the things that I've benefited the most from in SWE, you know, I've had a great experience with the formal mentorship, but I would say additionally, informal mentorship is huge. And the people that I've met around me have definitely been very instrumental in kind of guiding me and showing me the ropes. And that's something that I definitely hope to, you know, pass down to younger students now that I am in my last year of study here, which is crazy, but.
Excellent. And you brought up graduate students. What programming or activities does SWE do that helps encourage female members to pursue graduate school or possibly even careers in academia?
Absolutely. So yeah, so the graduate student program is definitely one of our highlights. You can get partnered with one or multiple graduate students. So maybe if you're interested in graduate school for a couple different things, you can kind of get a couple different mentors, which is always helpful. And so I think just making it, I guess for me, always making it seem like a path that is totally like you can totally do it and it's normal and not just this crazy thing is definitely very important. So I think having someone to talk to who has navigated that process is really beneficial. I think the same thing goes for like networking and the job search. That's something that seems very like out there and crazy and daunting at first. And it takes, having someone older that's gone through it to talk to you and kind of say like, it's okay. Like you don't have to go to everything. You don't have to do everything. But it's also ultimately up to you to kind of drive that, figure out what you want to do and then kind of run after that. So
it looks like we're getting some questions from both graduate students and from undergrads on how they can get more involved with SWE. Does SWE, if you could talk to us about how you could become a member of SWE at our chapter?
Absolutely. Yeah, so one of the great first steps is our listserv. So in the fall, we're super busy. So we have an internal one and an external one. So the internal one will be all of our internal events, obviously, that we have going on. So whether that's like internal coffee chats, study hours, different things like that. And then the external will be a lot of like professional development events, like with different companies that are coming in. So that's definitely a great way to kind of get involved as a first step and kind of see all the different things that we're doing on campus. We do have a website, which kind of is also, you can find all of the, links to social media there. And if you just Google SWE Northwestern, it should pop right up. So yeah, so we're definitely, and it's kind of one of those things like you get in what you get out what you put in for SWE. So you can kind of tailor your own involvement to like the time that you have available and your investment, your own personal investment level. So I think that's a great way to you can attend as many events as you want. And that's a great way to kind of navigate this whole process.
Awesome. And I know He4SWE events, they're going to start taking place more next quarter, but has SWE found success transitioning some of the events that they traditionally have to more of a virtual format?
Absolutely. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges that we're facing as a club right now, and that's definitely a universal struggle. And even to Northwestern as we're taking all of our classes virtual, but we've definitely been trying to look at different programming that we can do virtually. So for us, for He4SWE specifically, we focus a lot on focus groups in the fall with all the different McCormick clubs. So we're working right now on surveys that can be done and Zooms with breakout rooms as opposed to kind of the smaller group discussions. So it's definitely something that is first and foremost on the brain. And then in terms of SWE overall, I think one of the things we're doing for first year students is the CAC Connect that I mentioned, where you can just pop in for an hour during your week, and you can either kind of take a break from your studies, or you can maybe talk through some EA1, depending on kind of what you're in the mood for that day. So there's definitely opportunities to get involved now in this new virtual format, and we're definitely constantly evolving and finding new ways to include our events in that way.
Excellent. And what are you most proud of in terms of how SWE has supported female students over the past 3 years that you've been involved with the organization?
Absolutely. Yeah, so I came in to Northwestern and I picked engineering, and I didn't have a ton of background in it. I didn't really know anything other than like I like math and science. And so that was definitely a process for me of like finding my place within McCormick. And I think for a lot of students have similar experiences. And so I think the thing that makes me proudest with SWE is kind of bringing people in and creating this community where they can be comfortable. And for most people that looks completely different. That could be just like movie nights and pizza parties and stuff like that you come to, obviously COVID permitting. But that also can look like, support in professional development and access to these events with different companies that we're hosting. So I think that's definitely what I'm most proud of, is you're kind of able to find that community no matter what you're seeking. And there's definitely space for everyone to come and find fulfillment in that way.
Excellent. And you did get a question that I'm going to give a shot at answering. And it's about, does our chapter work with any external organizations, especially with local STEM outreach activities? In particular, they mentioned mechanical engineering undergrad alums who are doing STEM programming. And I have a feeling I know which alums they're talking about. We had two alums, Turnan and Shanali Ditz, who started a company called Spark Shop, and our chapter does work with them. And on a regular basis, we've had them come speak because they're young women who created their own companies, so they have an entrepreneurial perspective, but also too, we partner with them for our career days. So I wanted to put a plug in for them, but we do always are very open to welcoming our alums back. And one question that I think is just kind of interesting to ask us, the speaker last week, and I kind of like the answer. It gives us hope for when we can all be together. What's one of the things that you look forward to the most when we all return to campus and can be together in the same room?
Absolutely. This sounds crazy, and I maybe never thought I would fully be saying this, but I think the thought of just like walking into a crowded lecture hall like that, it's so foreign right now, and it doesn't even feel like it ever happened. So I think I'm definitely excited to like feel the energy of a classroom again, and to, feel, obviously there's conversation that can go on over Zoom, but it's definitely just a different feeling than being in the classroom and kind of bouncing ideas off of each other. And then I think as far as SWE is concerned, one of the things we love to do is have events with food. So insomnia cookies and pizza and stuff. So I'm definitely excited to be able to bring that back in the mix again when it's safe to do so.
Excellent. Yeah, I do think it'll be very exciting when we can all be together. As you may have noticed, our time is coming to an end, and I do really want to take a moment to thank Emily for taking the time to share some of the history of our SWE chapter and highlighting some of their current programming. Emily, I wish we were in person and you could hear thunderous applause. But in lieu of that, I would like to give you a double thumbs up for your presentation today. And I'd also like to thank Dino Tino for creating these opportunities for us to come together, and our marketing staff again for making sure that everything ran really smoothly. We hope you enjoyed today's music selection as well. And finally, I want to thank everybody for signing on today and taking some time out of your day to join us. And I really, again, look forward to seeing you at future One McCormick events. Take care.